Hotline. You're watching Magicbricks Now, India's first 24/7 property channel. I'm Frieda. Thank you so much for tuning in on this weekend. I hope you're enjoying your long weekend. Today we're looking at questions on buying, selling and investing in property. In the studio with me, Ramesh Nair, COO and International Director at JLL India. Ramesh, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Quick question though, for those of us all working within this sector, one of the things that we were looking forward to was the real estate regulatory bill. We were hoping the winter session would bring it, but it has not. From what you're looking at in the market in terms of residential sales, how does this affect the market? Do you expect this to have any impact at all to sentiment on the ground?
We were hoping the RERA would get cleared, become an act. I know the cabinet has passed it. Would have been a good thing for the consumers. Overall, the good news is demand is slowly coming back. We've seen that in Bombay. Over the last 4 quarters, we've seen demand actually go up from 13,000 units for 4 quarters to 17,000 units for the last 4 quarters. That's a healthy sign. That's also because developers are becoming realistic. They are willing to cut discounts. There are more freebies being offered. The RBI interest rate cuts have also...
So effectively, prices will continue to come down?
Prices are not going to come down, but the market is going to remain sluggish for at least the next 2 quarters, post which we believe the market will start picking up slowly.
All right, I'm told we have someone on the phone line already. Padma joins us on the phone line. Padma, tell us what your question is. How can we help you?
Yeah, hello. Actually, we are taking one row house at Hyderabad nearby Sainikpuri ECIL area.
Okay.
So, it has come to around 2,800 per SFT and it is build up is around 1460 SFT. So, actually, I just want to know how could be the development during, around that area in the next 10 to 15 years, whether it's the right investment. Even we live for 10 to 15 years and later look for resale or something. However, the development surrounding area, whether it's a good investment or not, I just want to know.
All right, Padma. You know, Ramesh, this is interesting. Normally, we get phone calls about the Madhapur, the Gachibowli, the areas around the IT park of Hyderabad. Sainikpuri is not in that area. It tends to be it's on the other side of the city. But she's getting a good rate on a row house, which means that she'll also be able to buy the land, which comes with a row house. Would you say over a 10 to 15-year horizon, it's a good buy?
Tough to predict 10 to 15 years down the line, but if you look at a 5-year kind of a timeline, I think the prices would become around 75 lakhs odd. We expect that market to have a capital appreciation of around 5 to 7% over the next 2 years and maybe an 8 to 10% after that for another 3 years. Okay. See, one bad thing about that is it's not close to the IT corridor, but the good thing is it's closer to the industrial corridor. I believe Hyderabad is definitely poised for a better performance in the market than what we have seen in the previous 6 years thanks to the political turmoil. What I hear from my Hyderabad colleagues is that the Chief Minister is quite proactive. He wants to get more IT investments into the state.
But if he brings in more IT investment in the state, how will that affect Sainikpuri? Because that's not where the IT investment is coming
I'm talking about the overall market fare. The overall market, if you look at it, Bangalore is going through a lot of traffic mess over the last few months. Chennai, whatever we've seen, the flooding issues, I think Hyderabad will be a natural beneficiary of the troubles in the Chennai and Bangalore market.
All right. So Hyderabad is a good bet. You said 5 to 10 or 8 for the next couple of years and then 8 to 10.
Around 75 lakhs, I think, in the next by 2020.
All right. Padma, you could possibly expect, that the price of that property to hit close to 75 lakh rupees in the next few years. Is there anything else you'd like to ask us?
Yeah, actually this Sainikpuri and it is nearby ECL. So there is this Rampalli side where the IT and the IT sales is also there. So any chance that this way also gets developed? That is what it's nearby to the ECIL as well.
Well, it's difficult to predict at this point what's going to happen in the future. But I suppose if it does get any sort of benefit from any sort of IT development that comes in that neighborhood, it'll be plus from whatever we are talking about.
So it's a well-established industrial belt and being in close proximity to ECIL will definitely help.
All right. Okay, Padma, we hope that helps. Remember, you can get back in touch with us if you have any more questions. Our contact details are on your screen right now. Mehboob has written in. He sent us his question on email. He wants to buy a 2-bedroom flat in Mira Road. He says, what are the upcoming constructions in that area? He also has a flat, he tells us, Ramesh, in the Dahisar East on the SV Road. which is a 400 square foot, one bedroom apartment. He said he bought it in 2009. He wants to know what the current selling price is of that area. Well, let's first look at the Mira Road question. The fact that he wants to buy in Mira Road, there's a lot of construction, a lot of top names constructing in Mira Road. If you were to list out a few that he should consider, what would they be?
So one can look at Lodha and JC Homes. Products are priced between 10 to 12,000 rupees per square foot. We believe with government announcing the coastal road, today Western Expressway has a lot of traffic mess which is happening. And that would get resolved if the coastal road comes.
It really is. I missed a flight because I got stuck at the Western Expressway. So technically, how badly would that affect prices in Mira Road going forward? Because from what we understand from the government of Maharashtra at least, there's no new infrastructure being planned to ease up the Western Expressway either. All the infrastructure.
So you have the coastal road which will end in Malad,
which is at least 10 years away.
The government says 3-4 years. Let's take a pessimistic timeline of around 6-7 years.
Sure.
So it will definitely help. What we have seen is whenever an infrastructure project is announced in Bombay, price increase happens even before the project actually comes up. So we saw that in Chembur, we saw that in Kanjurmarg. All the price increases happened way back in 11, 12, 13, much before the Eastern Freeway came up. So I believe West will have a little bit of sluggishness till people start seeing action happening on the Western coastal road, and post which prices will start increasing again.
So this is a good time to get in then?
Not a bad time, but I think a better time would be maybe 6-8 months down the line.
All right, 6-8 months down the line. Are you expecting prices to soften between now and 6
Prices won't soften, but prices will start marginally going up once people start seeing construction work happening on the coastal road. Right now, it's still in the planning stage. We need to see more action happening on the construction
side. All right. So Mehboob also owns a one-bedroom apartment, he tells us, on Dahisar Road, Dahisar East, SV Road, 400 square foot. He wants to know what he could possibly gain for that apartment right now.
So today, for a ready-made apartment which is ready to occupy in Dahisar, you would get a price of around 10 to 12,000 rupees. It should be easy to sell. You won't have much trouble.
All right. So we hope that helps. Let's move on to our next question. We have someone else who joins us on the phone line. Vishal, I'm told, is on the phone with a question for us. Vishal, tell us what your question is.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Vishal Jaiswal from Delhi. Yeah, my question is, in the last show also, I was I'm looking for a 3-bedroom apartment, not on the Dwarka Expressway in Gurgaon, but I'm looking on the other side, which is going to be, the connectivity from the Golf Course Extension Road. So I'm looking for a horizon of 3 years, from now, and I'm looking for a subvention plan with a reputed builder. That's my requirement is as of now. So if you can, guide me to go through one of the best projects over there, which will be, 3 year or 4 year down the line, getting ready so that I can move in then. Because I'm already staying at Indirapuram as of now.
All right. 3 or 4 years. A quick question, Vishal. This is obviously a home that you're hoping to occupy with your family, right?
Yeah, correct.
So
it's not for investment. It's absolutely for moving in.
For your personal use. So any sort of delay in delivery here would really bother you. So that should be our top priority. Okay, we seem to have lost Vishal, but we got most of his question. 3 or 4 years' time, he wants to move into a home in Gurgaon, he tells us, closer to Golf Course Extension. And he made it very clear he wants a reputed builder, where the odds of delay are as little as possible. What would you recommend?
A lot of prominent developers in that corridor. You have Mahindra's, Tata's, DLF, Godrej, Vatika. So a lot of choices to choose from.
But available at 90 to 1 CR for a 3-bedroom?
Yes, you can get enough supply coming up. We all know that that belt has a lot of supply unsold inventory, so you should be able to get a good deal.
So you said Mahindra's and Tata's?
Mahindra's, Tata's, Godrej, DLF, Vatika, Unitech, ATS. Everyone has a project in that corridor. So.
Vishal, I'm told we have you back on the phone line right now. If you heard that list that Ramesh just gave us, is there anything in there you find particularly interesting?
Well, I got disconnected, so I'm not able to,
Okay, so Ramesh just said there's the Mahindra's, Tata's, Godrej, DLF, Vatika, all of which are building in your budget. So you can take a look at those those apartments and then come back to us if you have any more questions. If you want help shortlisting those apartments, and we'll help you work that out as well. But in the meantime, Ramesh Ashok has sent us a question on email. He says he's planning to buy a ready-to-move-in apartment in the NCR region, which might be a good idea. He says the property could either be a 1 or a 2 bedroom depending on availability, and he's looking at Noida or Greater Noida or Gurgaon with a budget of 30 lakh rupees. Give me some good projects. Now, whether it is Noida or Gurgaon, 30 lakh rupees, even for a 1 bedroom, seems like quite a stretch, doesn't it?
30 is going to be a little tough to find, but if you can stretch a little bit, there are enough developers, Ansals, Gorsons, JP,
But stretch a little bit would be to what extent?
or around 5-10 lakhs more.
Okay.
He could start getting projects in the 40 lakhs.
What about in the Greater Noida area? Was there anything under construction there that he
Still, all those people there, Gorsons, JP, all these, you will have to stretch to around 35-40 lakhs to get a good 2-bedroom.
Okay. And if he was not able to stretch, because this is an email, so we can't ask him, if 30 is a hard budget and he can't stretch it even further, then where would you recommend?
Go further down Greater Noida, Yamuna Expressway, but not too. The problem is not too many 1-bedroom units there.
Right.
People are today starting to plan 1-bedrooms, but what was already planned over the last 2 years are all 2 and above. So it's going to be a little.
Also,
stretch.
you know, the further he goes down that stretch, the longer he's going to have to wait for social infrastructure and connectivity and all of the other things that causes any sort of appreciation in property. Would it be another like 5-year wait at least?
See, my colleagues working out of Delhi tell me that infrastructure is happening quite fast.
Okay.
And especially the metro, the UP government is quite committed to the metro in Noida and Greater Noida. So infrastructure is coming, but the problem is price appreciation and lot of supply, so much of land. You drive down that Agra expressway, so much of land available, so much of supply available. I don't know when all this is going to be taken up.
Okay, so here's a slightly left of field question for you. So if he has a 30 lakh rupee budget, he's obviously looking at an investment, because if he's looking for a home to live in, it won't be Noida or Gurgaon. He would have obviously picked one. So he's making an investment of 30 lakh rupees. Would it be better for him to look at a tier 2 city somewhere, maybe a Lucknow or one of these cities, and buy property there if appreciation is all he's looking for, as opposed to looking within the NCR region?
See, I would recommend that today it's not the right time to take risks. Move towards tier 3 cities. I would suggest that he looks at something which is touch and feel, where you can see a product in front of you and look at that. Is one thing which someone needs to be very careful while looking at Noida and Greater Noida is please check for developer credentials. There were a lot of fly-by-night operators who came in around 3-4 years back, where people have invested and they've got into trouble. So go for the good names.
Go for the good names. Yeah. Do you think there'll be anything available in the second sale market, perhaps? A smaller apartment?
Second sale also. There could be a lot of distress by sellers who want to get out, people who made investments, who didn't see enough capital appreciation. We haven't seen much of capital appreciation over the last 2-3 years. So you should keep his eyes open for second sale market, get in touch with some local brokers there who could show him some of those units.
All right. A second sale option might also be open to you. Actually talk to the local brokers, see what's available in the market. If your budget is only 30 lakh rupees, if you can stretch it by another 5 or 10 lakh rupees, then there might be more options for you, especially in that Greater Noida region. We're going to take, you wanted to say something else?
So if you can look at areas like Diwali,
okay.
if he can't kind of stretch beyond the 35-40 lakh rupee mark, then you could still find some units in the 30 lakh range.
All right, still in Bhiwadi. And what sort of an investment would that be? What kind of returns would you expect from it?
Returns tough to predict, but in that belt overall you can expect 5 to 7% per annum kind of a return.
We're trying to answer as many questions as we can before we wrap up this show. I'm told Ramesh, Frieda is on the phone line. Frieda joins us from Bangalore. Frieda, tell us what your question is. How can we help you?
Yeah, sure. Actually, I would like to know that I have a house in Austin Town area,
okay,
which is near to Ashok Nagar, near Garuda Mall.
Okay.
And the site value of my house is like 15 by 100. So I would like to know like what would be the cost of the area.
You're looking purely at the land cost at this point?
Yeah, the land cost as well as the building cost.
Okay.
I do have 6 houses in that place.
Okay, so it's a building with 6 homes in it.
Yes.
And you're looking to sell the whole building?
Sure, sure.
Okay. That's an interesting question. Austin Town is a great location in Bangalore. It's fantastic to actually be there. So she has the land and an entire building with 6 apartments in it. What would you recommend, actually, I know it's difficult right now because you don't know the age of the construction and you don't know the exact location of the apartment, but how would someone like her, like Frieda, go about finding out the market value of that, of that property?
It's quite prime Austin Town, heart of the city, and well accessible from all sides. today's sale price there would be somewhere in the 8 to 11,000 rupee range. She should ideally go to one prominent agent and give an exclusive marketing kind of a role for that. The Bangalore has a lot of good residential agents. She should go through one of them.
How do you choose a good residential agent?
Somebody who has a track record, somebody who has done similar sales, somebody who's going to represent you. She's a seller. And so in this case, the broker who's going to be representing her needs to maximize her value.
Sure.
And somebody who can commit to a timeline that, okay, in the next 2 to 3 months, I'll run a process. So the most important thing is running a process whereby you create some amount of bids which come to you. And once you get a few bids, then you can create some competitive element in the overall process and then sell.
So you're saying it's almost like an auction then? You get as many people
Not
coming
to
in
an
and
auction,
giving you...
but at least a bid where people
Alright.
give some sealed bids saying this is how
So
much you will.
tell me this also, if she's you know, got a plot of land of that size and an apartment, who are the possible buyers, you know, for a deal like this?
See, there could be joint families who want to move together into something. There could be maybe a IT corporate who wants to have a guest house.
Sure.
It could be a few set of regular home buyers who will come and buy 1 or 2 units each, combine it. So it could be a mix of any one of those.
All right. So Frieda, what you need to do right now, your entire process will depend on finding a really good agent or a really good broker, maybe even a corporate broker who'd be able to help you out with this deal, because it's going to be you know, large and cumbersome, and you want someone who's on your side. If you need help, you know, zeroing down on a broker, you can get back in touch with us. But we hope we've helped you with that one. I'm going to ask you another question. Soonish sends us his question on our website. And if you'd like to send us a question on your website, we're at mbnow.in. Now, he tells us he owns a golf villa plot in Sarjapur in East Bangalore. He says it's a niche property in the 3 crore rupee range with an additional commitment needed to build the villa. He currently only has the land. He wants some guidance on what the best strategy is to sell that property. I'm going to assume that it's going to be on the same lines as the strategy we just gave Frieda in terms of selling the property she has in Austin Town. But I want to understand from you this. Golf villas and golf projects became really popular over the last 4 or 5 years. We also know that they're not the most, you know, they're not the easiest to buy, and they're certainly not the easiest to sell at this point. What sort of response are golf projects getting across the country?
So golf projects, typically the buyer profile is that of a second home. Very few people actually buy golf homes to stay there as main reason being most of the golf homes are in the outskirts of cities. To build a 9-hole golf course, you need around 90 acres. To build a 18-hole, you need around
On an average, what is the maintenance?
Maintenance is one aspect, but the other thing is what do you do if when you're not staying there? Because you may go there over a weekend, 1 or 2 days, Saturday, Sunday, but what happens to the project other than that? So there are very few management chains in the country who can actually give it as holiday homes for outsiders coming. Many societies don't like their golf communities being used for holidays. And what we have seen in the last 3 years overall across India, because the real estate markets have been a little sluggish, is that the second home sales have been impacted. People typically think of second and third and fourth homes.
When the going is good.
When the going is good. Most of them are investors and speculators coming in. One good thing which has happened in the market is speculators and investors have gotten out of it. So the market becomes more end user driven. But the bad thing is for projects like golf homes, demand has kind of come down.
You know, for Soonish, who's looking to sort of get out of a golf villa plot of land in Sarjapur. Sarjapur is a good location. But if we consider all of the things you said, so someone's going to have to pay 3 crore rupees for this plot of land and then construct a villa on top of it. Is this a good time for him to try and get into that market, or would you recommend if he can hold to just hold for the time being?
See, Sarjapur is a good location. Outer Ring Road is not very far off. Outer Ring Road today, given all the traffic issues on Outer Ring Road, it'll be good to find somebody who's working there will want to come and stay there close by. So selling, I don't see too much of a challenge.
Okay, you don't see too much of
I don't see too much.
Would you recommend golf-linked projects, whether they're villas or apartments, as investments right now to anyone? Or would you say wait until the market recovers a little bit? Because like you said, second homes tend to take a beating if the market is not great.
So there are a couple of projects which are coming outside Bombay, for example. We haven't seen too much of traction.
No traction,
I would definitely recommend that if you're looking at large projects like golf villages, golf communities, look for very prominent developers, people who can actually take the vision to completion. Someone who doesn't have a track record, someone who can't kind of stay in the market when there are uncertainties, please don't invest.
All right, please don't invest, and that's Sajapur on your screen right now, trading at about 4,130 rupees a square foot. Remember, if you have questions for us on Magicbricks Now, you can get in touch. There's a whole host of ways in which you can get in touch with us. The fastest, of course, being our phone line, which stays open and live through the day, so you can pick up the phone and call us whenever you need to. Abhay Kumar has sent in a question on email. He's planning to buy a 2 or a 3 bedroom property in Mira Road for end use, which means he's going to live there. He has a budget of 75 to 80 lakh rupees. He says, is Mira Road the right place to buy? Will I get good appreciation if I sell it in 4 or 5 years? Now, here's the thing. It always confuses me when someone writes an email saying that I want to live here, but I also want good appreciation. Is it the right place to buy? So obviously, first of all, he needs to choose a location based on his family's needs if he's going to live there. But what sort of, forecast do you have for Mira Road going forward?
Mira Road, we expect capital appreciation to be in the 6 to 8% range. Today, if you look
the average fixed deposit.
Average fixed deposit. Today, if you're looking for prominent developers on Mira Road, you will get it at around 10,000 rupees a square foot. Not so prominent developers, you will get it at around 8,000 rupees. Definitely a good bet, and in the long run, over a 5 to 7 year period, we see good capital appreciation happening on
In
Mira
terms of Mira Road, social infrastructure is not bad. There are the schools, the colleges, the hospitals, everything someone might need. For actual physical infrastructure, roads, flyovers, traffic, things like that, what's on the cards for Mira Road?
See, like I said earlier on, it all depends on how fast the government can get the coastal road going.
It's all hinging on that one coastal
It is
road.
very important because today Western Expressway has become like the outer ring road of Bangalore, and traffic is just increasing day by day. The government needs to find some immediate solutions for that.
All right, immediate solutions for the coastal road. If the coastal road does come in, then you will see prices in areas like Mira Road shoot through the roof. But if, in the meantime, while we wait for the coastal road, you can expect 8 to 10%, 6 to 8%. All right, we have time for one last question. Parvez has written in, he sent us an email as well. He's planning to buy a home in Vagoli in Pune. He wants to know what the tentative rates are in this area. We're going to try and flash that on your screen. These are rates that we get from our partner Magicbricks. But Ramesh, I want to understand from you, Vagoli, Pune, good buy?
Definitely a good buy. Vagoli further east of Kharadi, after Kharadi. So typical prices there between 3,500 to 4,500. The more well-known developers would charge you 4,500. 3,500 for not so well-known developers. But definitely a good bet. A lot of IT happening there. So rentals would be easier to get.
All right, in terms of Kharadi, which is also closer by, if I were to ask you to compare the two, Kharadi and Vagoli, which do you think is a better option at this point?
Kharadi is a better option, but that's closer to the city. Kharadi, obviously, prices are also more expensive than Vagoli.
All right, so Kharadi is a better option there, and the prices that Ramesh gave us between 3 and 4,500 rupees a square foot. That's on your screen right now. There's a lot of construction happening at Kharadi as well. We know there's an IT SEZ that's being planned in that neighborhood. So it will impact both Vagoli and Kharadi when that SEZ does come up. If you have more questions specifically about the neighborhood, the builder, anything else you need to know about buying property, feel free to get in touch with us. Our contact details are on your screen. Ramesh, thank you so much for spending time with us. It's been a pleasure to chat with you. If you have a question for Ramesh in particular, anything he said to us on this show, write to us on the screen as well. And you can reach me personally on Twitter. That's a wrap on today's episode of Property Hotline. We'll be back on Monday to answer your questions. Stay with Magicbricks now.